Welcome, losers, to the second inaugural episode of the Sonic Movie Show, the only show that specifically has us talking all about the upcoming movie from Paramount Pictures. I'm Ethan, and along with me is my closeted Sonic lover, Devin.
How's it going? Gotta go fast.
Pretty good. We finally got a trailer.
Finally, it's been like, what, 3 weeks since, 2 weeks since we've done the last episode, but it feels like it's been a month. Because we're like,
If
oh, it's gonna be next week. Okay, maybe it'll be next week, and it's like, oh, it's coming out on a Tuesday?
I
So
know,
it's a little weird.
I
But,
know, and it's funny because we were talking like, oh, like they showed a trailer at Comic Con, and it may not be this specific one because there's like a
CinemaCon.
couple lines that are not in here or whatever. Maybe it was like, and they edited it after
Yeah,
reactions,
we didn't
but
see the nipple,
yeah, the
the,
breastfeeding
the
joke or
breastfeeding
whatever, which
joke.
seems off-putting. But so like the whole time I'm like wondering, like why are they waiting so long? This movie's coming out November 8th,
Mm-hmm.
2019. Pretty soon, right? Why isn't there a trailer? Because we get movies that like get a trailer that are a year out. And then I saw Avengers Endgame, and I'm watching the movie, and it's slowly starting to dawn on me why. And then as soon as the credits roll, the movie's over, I finally get it. Like the reason they had to wait until Avengers came out. Basic fact. Because after that
That's a good
awesome
point.
movie, they can easily sneak this awful trailer the Tuesday after the weekend and
Did
have
it?
people just kind of be like, oh, that's cool. Like they're not going to hate on it as much. And I don't really think that worked out for them. I don't know. What do you think?
I I didn't think about it that way. I feel like if you put anything out like a week before an Avengers film, it's you're right. It's probably just gonna be like under the radar. Taylor Swift dropped like a song and a music video, and like I didn't. You joked about it like while we were right before we saw Avengers, like about how like no one would even know, and then it actually
Right.
happened. It legitimately happened the next day.
It's the best way to get a lot of attention without any critical thinking
People are
because
like,
she could
oh,
put out a trash song and people would download it, listen to it, whatever the metrics you want to go by without actually being like, oh, this sucks or
mm-hmm,
whatever. And I think
exactly.
the same thing with this trailer. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they waited. They wanted it to come out before Detective Pikachu
That's
because I wouldn't be
important. I was
surprised if
really
that's
nervous for a second that they weren't going to do that, and I thought that'd be terrible marketing. Just
right. I mean, you got this
terrible.
fluffy freak, put him in front of a trailer for another fluffy
Just,
animal.
I mean, just video games alone. Video game movie
Right.
should hype up another video game
Hey,
movie,
if
or
you're interested in this movie, you might like this movie. It's
yeah.
basic, YouTube sidebar shit. But but yeah, like like the Tuesday after, the biggest movie of the decade, just in
Probably,
terms of ticket sales.
or
You know what I
pop
mean?
culture like
Pop
phenomenon.
culture event of probably this century, at least escalating upward. We haven't had one this big since.
Yeah,
Yeah, they dropped the trailer. So
and we had a rumor, right? Was it Monday night? I think you texted it to me, being like, "Oh, hey, this might be happening," and I'm like,
yeah.
"Well, looks like we'll get it," but I wasn't sure because that was the only source we saw. But then
Mhm.
then, then it came out.
And
So
it's funny. So like we just saw the trailer came out today, and yesterday there was a leaked photo of Robotnik, and I'm like, okay, well, we were like, maybe we can do an episode about that, or find something, and they're like, no, here's the trailer right away. Like,
yeah,
great, but
which is fine.
yeah,
I'm okay with. I guess I'm okay with this route. I mean, I kind of wish they did it like 2 weeks ago, but I guess maybe they saw the reaction to CinemaCon's version of it, and how people said it was bad. Like some of the jokes were bad, and maybe they tried to rework it a little bit. I
yeah,
haven't found anything yet that suggests that there was any changes, but we also don't know if what we heard from it in terms of like the breastfeeding joke was even legitimate. Someone could have just said that. We don't know if it
yeah.
actually happened because we've had that before, being like, for Avengers even we've had like, oh, this happens, and then it wasn't even
Hmm.
in the film. You know what I mean?
Right. And
So
they decided to cut it after showing it to a test audience. You know what I
correct.
mean? But in terms of that specific joke in question, like there was another person online that posted the joke and it had a follow up line from Robotnik, which makes me think that that actually was real and what someone didn't just make it up.
So
But
we think it probably was. This is technically a different trailer or teaser, whatever you want to call it.
at the very least, there is a scene not shown. So it could be, an entirely different trailer. But in my opinion, they were probably just like, all right, this is the first real trailer. Of course, Hollywood, I don't know, they have a 2 minute, 2.5 minute sequence of footage and they call it a teaser. And then like they release a real trailer later that's shorter or whatever. It doesn't really make sense. But in any case, regardless of whatever they call this, it's a trailer. It's trailer number one, and they probably wanted their first impression to be
how long is this?
Best it could be.
2 minutes 47 seconds.
Yeah, almost 3 minutes. Do they call it a teaser? I actually want to know.
Trailer. It says trailer because that's where I was confused of what is a trailer and what's a teaser, but we're not going to talk about that.
Seems like every Star Wars movie nowadays has like 3 teasers.
Yeah, teaser to me, I thought a teaser was shorter. Is a trailer shorter?
Who knows? And trailers nowadays, if you've ever seen this for a movie, the trailer starts with a 5-second super condensed version of the trailer. Be like, and this is the trailer. You know what I mean? Yes. So it's weird. But I guess, hey, if anything, props to them to just be like, here's almost 3 minutes of the thing. We're calling it a trailer. But like I was saying, I think they want, their best first impression possible. And they probably saw some of the reaction from Comic-Con. And we're like, well, we can change some of it.
CinemaCon.
That's my thinking. CinemaCon, I'm sorry.
You're good. Just want to make sure we get our facts straight.
Technically, the Sonic comic is the longest running comic in America, uninterrupted. I read that the other day.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
I don't know. So yeah, we got a trailer.
Do you want to just do quick, like, raw reaction? Don't go too much into details, but just like, what was the first like feeling you got like at the conclusion of the trailer? Because I know we watched it together because you were here in my apartment this morning. But
yeah,
what was your
to do laundry?
To do laundry. What's your raw reaction? My
first thought after the trailer ended, it was like, wow, this is, like, I'm going to be honest. My first conclusion I make was, this is gonna suck. But the adult in me, or the person that's trying to be mature, that doesn't want to just shit on media just to think I'm snarky or whatever, wants to give it a chance. So I was processing it. There was like one thought that stretched maybe 30 seconds of me being like, find something you like. I liked the rings instead of the stars for the Paramount logo. That was basically my first real thought.
Is this after your first viewing? Like, was this your first initial, like, I guess we could talk about, did you have a different reaction after watching it? You said you watched it 2 or 3 more times.
I just watched it a couple more times. And like, obviously, when you watch something a second time and direction of how it's going to go, especially for a movie, you think about it in a different context. But like, I don't know, I saw it and I noticed a bit more about like Sonic's design, and his voice specifically a bit more.
Okay, so you paid attention to more details is what you're saying. I did kind of the same thing, but
yeah.
Well, my first like reaction was like I couldn't even describe it, man. Like, it's like I got punched in the gut.
The same thing I did.
Just kind of a punch to the gut. Like, it really hit me. I'm like, this is happening. This is really happening.
And I'm sorry to cut you off. I think the best way to describe our reaction was, this is the movie that the Sonic series deserves, honestly. Like, what else did we expect from being let down so many times that this is the trailer we would get?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I thought before the trailer came out, I'm like, this movie's probably going to suck. I think we all are on the same page with that this movie's probably going to suck. So my expectations were already low, but for some reason it still hurt. It still hurt to get punched in the gut. Like, even though I was prepared for it.
To be proven wrong. You know what I mean?
I think that's it. I think I was like, what? Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be all right. And it's like, I feel like I got punched. Who
knows? That can still be the case. But the trailer is a product. Regardless if you want to say, oh, these scenes are taken out of context, they chose everything about this trailer, every single thing about it, including the timing, like I said, of when to release it, right after Avengers. So we can still judge the trailer on its own, 100% by its own merit. And if I'm being honest, I don't think the movie's going to be good based off of it.
I will agree with that. I will agree
based
with
off
that.
what they wanted to show us.
After the first time watching it, I feel like I got punched in the gut. But then watching it second and the third time, it hurt me more. I feel like I got punched again. And I don't know if it's because of, like you were saying, how I have your expectations are low, but yet you still are hoping that it'll be good. I think that's the feeling.
Mhm.
It's just being let down. And I feel like as I was watching it more and more, I was feeling let down more and more. And I also kind of feel bad. I feel
Right.
bad. Like, I feel bad for the Sonic community. I feel bad for
Like
the
somehow by
actors
watching it, you're
involved.
kicking a puppy.
Yeah, I feel bad for the actors involved because they don't know. I feel like I don't. Do they know it's bad, or do they know
I
Sonic
don't
has
know.
been?
What did Jim Carrey say the movie was going to be edgy?
Yeah, he did say that,
Ugh. I don't know. Like,
and I feel bad for like I know people are like, well, they gotta know it's bad. I don't know, man. Some actors really don't know like until the final product comes out, and I'm like,
how
if I'm
many? So, okay, like, I'm just gonna to speculate here,
okay,
if you will let me.
got my tinfoil hat on.
Let's just say we got Jim Carrey,
Mm-hmm.
and we got, I don't know, who is the actor that's playing the
Marston.
cop?
Marston.
Okay, Marston. We'll call him Marston.
He's
Um,
Cyclops.
really?
Yeah, we talked about this last time. He's Cyclops, and he's the
Maybe
one of
I
the main.
just like didn't believe you. That's funny. He really got like just shat on in those X-Men movies. Like he's supposed to be like the cool leader. He's like, no, you're just like in the way of Wolverine's love story. Okay, anyway, we got Cyclops.
Yes.
Let's say you're Cyclops, and your agent calls you and says, or
Hey,
well,
Cyclops.
I don't know. Maybe he had to audition. Regardless, you got the gig. You're just starting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think that, like, no offense to to Hollywood actors, do you really think that man has experienced a lot of Sonic? Do you think Jim Carrey has
I
experienced a
don't
lot of
know.
Sonic?
That's the
Do
thing
you
we
think the
don't know
guy
about.
voicing Sonic experienced a lot of Sonic? I honestly, I think it's a fair assumption to make that, regardless of if you think it makes it bad or not, they're going into this movie. I don't think that they have, and so I don't think that, like, there is a lot of like self-awareness of like, yeah, like the Sonic cycle is about a movie now. Like, and we're contributing to making, at least from what the trailer shows us, um a spot on, unironic continuation of what we expect from Sonic as a series.
Yeah, like I know some people are like, "This is what the Sonic community deserves," and I'm like, "Does it though? Does it?" Like, yeah, there's like Sonic fanboys who just don't understand that. Yeah, a lot of the Sonic games are bad,
Hmm.
and like that's fine. You're gonna have fanboys in all like types of
Right.
pop culture communities.
Hmm.
So yeah, maybe it's their fault, but like it's no one's fault. Like it's I don't know why.
Maybe
Like
it's
I don't
just
know.
us collectively as humanity's fault. Like,
Like,
the world's going to end in 14 years of climate change, and like, yeah, this is your last hurrah. It's the Sonic movie, but this is what you
this is
deserve.
what the aliens find when they come to
if
save us, and they're like,
if none of
"Never
these
mind."
other signs are telling you to freaking change your actions as humanity, how about this Sonic movie?
Yeah, what if at the end of the movie they're just like, "This is what happens when we
This
don't
is your
stop
fate.
climate change," and that's the whole of the movie. It's like about climate
But then it
change.
will make, a lot of money, and it'll be merchandise, and it'll do okay. And like, parents that take their kids to the movie will be like, yeah, that's fine or whatever. And they don't really walk away be like, well, I rate this one 35% out of 100.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know.
no one talks about it like that. Or I mean,
But
I think we'll talk about it like that. Like that's what this podcast is about. But the
mhm.
average person is probably going to be like, whatever. It just hurts. You know what I mean? I feel like if we show this trailer to the average person, they'll be like, yeah, okay, I guess it's Sonic. It looks like a kids movie.
They're like, oof. Like, the line of reasoning, or not, maybe not line of reasoning, but the comments that I'm seeing echoed a lot on the internet is, we have, on the cartoon character adapted into a realistic looking Hollywood thing.
Hmm.
Um, we have, on one side, we have Pikachu, which I know you and I disagree with about how effective the CG is. I think we can both agree Pikachu looks a hell of a lot better than
No,
Sonic.
that's fine.
And
Yeah,
both in terms of actually looking real, but also looking faithful to the thing he's supposed to, be based on.
correct.
So we have like Detective Pikachu, and we have honestly a lot of the Marvel stuff, like it's like Rocket. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
yeah, like they had an actual raccoon that they didn't really bring him on the set to drag him around, but like they based it off a physical object. Same thing, honestly, with Detective Pikachu. I don't know if you saw, IGN actually had like a tour of like the studio or whatever, and they had it for every single Pokemon. There is a physical like puppet
Yeah,
with
like
the
I mean,
textures and
most
everything.
CG, not most, but a lot of CGI. The better CGI I feel like is still orchestrated by a puppet from what
Hmm.
I've known. I know like in Avengers and stuff
Or at
like
least a prop that they
yeah.
have
Yeah, I
there.
don't know what I mean, that's another thing we could we'll find out probably after the
Right.
movie's on DVD or whatever that what was
DVD, because
used.
that's what this deserves. Not even VHS, but so we have on one side we have like high quality adaptations of these characters that look like they're aware enough of the property and understand that it can't be taken too seriously, but also somehow is very cool.
Hmm.
Like Rocket Raccoon, like that's a raccoon, and yet we like
Love
look at him
I
like
love
he's
him, dude.
cool and
He's
like
really
you
cool.
believe. So we have on that side of the spectrum those things, and on the other side we have the Smurfs, Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah.
I could go on. There's a whole bunch. I can't even think off the top of my head. That's how forgettable a lot of the stuff is. But like you take like Alvin and the Chipmunks, and they really wanted to make those characters feel like not edgy, but like they would make the same kind of
Organic.
humor
Organic.
and like I don't know, like body behaviors that like the
It's gotta.
Sonic
It doesn't
movie
have to
does.
be realistic. It has to be organic. It has to make sense in the world that it's in. You know what I
But
mean?
still also be true to what the
Yes.
character is
It's
supposed to
hard. I'm not
be.
saying it's easy, but I mean that goes back to the Sonic design that what we saw from the leaked photos and what we now officially see in the trailer is that this isn't really too fateful. Like I feel like they just got the cutout of him and they're like everything else just do whatever. Like they're like
Right.
you got the cookie cutter, you cut out the
Hmm.
dough, but then you put sprinkles on it. You put chocolate chips in it and you're like, "No, that's not no, that's not what
Exactly.
Sonic looks like." I feel like
It's like
it would
not
be
a lot of
fine.
thought was taken into make him look real, as opposed to Pokemon Detective Pikachu. They actually got a guy that years ago started doing an art series where he made realistic looking adaptations of the Pokemon, not like how the movie looks, but more like what would Dragonite be like physically proportioned if he was real? What
Yeah.
would Jolteon look physically proportioned if he was real? I'm saying he, but whatever. You get the idea. So they actually got like someone that cares a lot. That dude made that art for free. They got that guy, and it really, really looks. Speaking from the trailers themselves, that like they cared about making the Pokemon look awesome, looking faithful, but also looking real. And I just don't see that from Sonic. And like
It's missing
you know,
so I think it's we talked about it before. The eyes are wrong. Like I feel like even if they had like the
everything. It's just
proportions right, or even like
it,
remotely right, it might
exactly.
be fine. It might be fine. This doesn't look.
Honest to
It
God,
looks like a different character. It straight up doesn't even look like Sonic. It looks like
if
just
he
a blue
wasn't
man.
blue, like you just said, if he wasn't blue, we wouldn't even think he was Sonic at all.
And we didn't know if we just saw a picture of him with the
Exactly.
shoes
And
and he
he
was like
wasn't blue, it'd
green.
be like, wow.
If he was green or something, I'd be like, oh, he's like a
Or just natural
fairy.
fur color.
He's like a
Be like,
fairy or something from some kid
exactly.
show. I don't know. Looks like a troll.
Exactly.
That's what it is. He's one of those trolls, but it's his hair slicked back
Yeah.
and he runs
Yeah,
fast.
he's
That's
got
what he
hair
is.
spray. But I don't know. So like, yeah, I think we've talked enough about. I'm sure the internet has talked enough about how bad Sonic looks. But like, just speaking back to the trailer, I don't know. Do you have any specific things you want to say about it?
Um, I mean, for me, I to me when I pay for this kind of movie, I'm paying attention to the actors, and I know everyone's looking at Sonic. I'm paying attention to our main star. To me, the main star isn't Sonic. To me, it's Jim Carrey. It's Robotnik.
Interesting.
Personally, that's the only reason I'm kind of excited for this film is Jim Carrey because I'm I grew up with watching Ace Ventura. I think I said that last podcast.
Yep, you have
Ace
both of those
Ventura.
movies on DVD.
Yes. And what was it? Yes Man. All those
Yeah,
cheesy movies he's done, and like
and good movies too.
Truman
He's not
Show.
a
Truman Show
bad
is one of my
actor.
favorite
Dumb and
movies.
Dumber,
Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber. Too,
second
like,
one, not nearly as good.
but
Came out in 2014. Can you believe that? That was that long
yes.
ago. 5 years.
I remember seeing it in theaters. But like, I think that's what hurt me more too, is that like it's one of the actors that I'm not proud of, but I really
You feel
like.
attached?
I feel attached to him, and it like I feel like he's trying.
settling.
Not even settling. To me, I think when I'm watching and I'm like, Jim, no, Jim, I hope the movie is like just all right, so like it doesn't, because when these movies do
It
affect.
kind of looks like he couldn't get any other work, and this was all he could get. Do you agree? It looks like, wow, you're
don't
really
know.
like stepping down for this.
I feel like that's probably it, and I don't want that to be. I think that's what my heart's telling me right now, is it doesn't want to accept that he maybe just accepted this for the money. And I understand the older you get as an actor, the less, gigs you're probably going to get, unless you play an old man, and how many movies have old men in it, or you know what I
Right.
mean? Like that kind of stuff. And I feel like Robotnik could be a character that he could play because he has his shtick. You know what I mean? I feel like from the trailer we saw a little bit of his shtick, but it doesn't. I don't know if it's the pacing of the trailer, but the jokes weren't hitting for me. And like they usually do. Jim usually gets
So-
me, but like for whatever reason, his shtick, like he does that robot thing.
Yeah. Well,
And,
some
like-
of that I think is the editing, and on like the second time I watched the trailer, I think I figured out at least what makes me feel like it's not working. And I think it's that stupid song that's Gangster Paradise playing, right?
I
Like
think
that
so.
stupid song is still in the background without any other audio cues or anything
To make it
while
funny.
he's doing the "and what's your name" kind of classic Jim Carrey stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember we had a discussion off air a while ago, watching the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer in theaters, when it was playing in front of some movie or whatever. And I said, like, because I'd seen the trailer a few times, I'm like, you know what's bothering me after watching it a few times? The fact that the one song is playing, throughout,
The
but they
Ramones
like
there, yeah.
they take away levels, or they dim it really quickly, or they cut away from it, but then pick it back up as if they actually muted it and not, stopped it.
Yeah.
And well, I think at the end of the day, that makes that trailer really good. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want it to just be constantly playing the Ramones the whole time. That's what they did for this
Yeah.
trailer. They stop it at the very end, and I do believe they bring it back a little bit, but then like it's that one song playing the whole time with the same beat
I think
over and over
yeah,
again.
I
I think that ruined that scene.
think it ruined that scene. I think it ruined the whole trailer. I think the pacing of the trailer is terrible. I don't
Yeah.
know what they were thinking. I mean, not saying I could do any better, but maybe I could. I don't know.
I honestly, I feel like, I don't know. It's easy for us to say. I think
I feel
could
like
do
they
better,
missed.
but
It's something's missing, and I think with what you said, the music playing the whole time, I feel like they kind of just threw it together. Maybe the trailer that they showed at CinemaCon was more fleshed out, and then they're like, "Well, let's backtrack," and then like
I would be interested to see if any comments about that CinemaCon trailer mentions having that song play. I feel like that'd be a very easy thing
I'll have to do more
to
research.
point out, because like maybe they're like, oh, this needs to be more upbeat. Well, because like, okay, that song matches with the one line that they like to flash around is from the producers of the Fast and Furious.
Correct.
Like,
yeah,
I don't think that's the audience that they're trying to go for, but that's the one cool factor they have attached to the movie. In a way, they're like, oh, whatever. Like, let's try to give it a cool vibe like that, maybe.
Mhm.
But I do agree with you a lot. That was the wrong choice for a song. I don't really know
I
what
don't know
I
what
would
song
do.
they would. Yeah, I don't know what song you would use, but I feel like
Maybe
that
even
song
just, like,
makes it
pick
seem like
Green
it's
Hill
like
Zone
and
and do
yo, I'm
a
Sonic and
remake
I'm
of
here
that
to
song.
blow up
Right.
stuff. It's like no,
And it's not even a fast-paced song.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because they have that playing while he's running, and they're like, no, Sonic, like,
What's the song? What's Led Zeppelin's song in Thor Ragnarok?
immigrant song.
Immigrant song. That
Which,
probably would
fun
have been
fact,
that probably
sorry,
would have
go on.
been better in the Sonic movie
Yeah,
in this
it's
trailer.
fast paced. Modern Sonic games, when Sonic is running, there is a constantly fast beat playing. It's a simple beat, but it's constantly playing, and it simulates like train moving across tracks,
Hmm,
constantly progressing past things.
correct.
And like you played this very honestly slow beat with him running at 760 miles per hour
It
or
doesn't
whatever it
feel
said.
fast. It doesn't
It
feel
doesn't
fast.
feel fast. No.
So I
But and
think
that,
that's something we could point out. I think is that maybe it'll be better like in the movie. Like maybe it doesn't give me hope right now, but maybe these jokes will be better executed with better sound cues, transitions,
mhm,
just straight up editing. I feel like
yeah.
the jokes weren't hitting for me because I was like, it feels like the music's playing, but also felt like dead air where it was just like there's no like, oh, I'm supposed to laugh here,
Right.
or I'm supposed to be like aha, like like I didn't
Exactly.
even get an aha. I was just like Jim, what's happening,
Yeah, and
buddy?
it's funny. So a lot of the, I'm not even going to say it's a lot of people's complaints, but I have seen complaints, or not necessarily complaints, I'm sorry, concerns about the Detective Pikachu movie, that Detective Pikachu, voiced by Ryan Reynolds, he feels like it's just Ryan Reynolds doing Ryan Reynolds jokes. And I think that movie is honestly, I think people are going to be surprised about how original it might feel. But
That's
I
what
think the same
I
thing
will
with
say
here. I
that
feel like
is
it's just Jim Carrey doing Jim Carrey. And while, yeah, there isn't a whole lot of, Dr. Robotnik, Eggman stuff,
yeah, like what
like,
it
I don't think there's like a through line of consistent behavior for that character that they could pull a lot from. But at the end of the day, it does feel like it's just Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. I don't
I
know.
will say some people were crapping on how it's just Jim Carrey with a mustache. That is true, but actually that was one of the few positives for me was that I kind of dig it. I kind of just dig that he's kind of just himself with a mustache because I
A
didn't want
dude.
he's just a dude and
Well, weird dude, but
weird dude, but and then when they what was the last like 2 seconds of the trailer, it has him bald and he's putting the
and he's got that
goggles
big
on.
mustache, and
And
his
honestly, I
outfit kind of
like
has the
that.
red stripes.
I kind of like
Honestly,
that.
this trailer, the only plot thing I can really discern besides, Robotnik's going after Sonic for whatever reason, is that you can see that there is a progression where he becomes more obsessed
Dude,
and
I
a
just had
little
a
insane, and he becomes the classic character, and I think that's cool. That might be the actual only like growth in the movie is for the villain, and maybe that's why they have a big name actor, like only big name actor, tied to
I know
the
this
villain.
is a little off, but my brain kind of exploded. In the trailer, they're in the desert. Do we get a death chamber reference?
By Death Chamber, you're saying the Sonic Adventure 2 level.
Yes.
Just want to make that clear. We're not talking about like Nazi stuff, but well, are you saying at the very end with him?
You know, in the end, where like, well, near the end, like Sonic's like running through like the desert, and there's like lasers shooting at him from the robots. But
Mm.
also, when Doctor Man is bald, he's putting the goggles on, and he's in the desert.
Well, so he's not in a desert. I don't know if you caught this. Those
Oh, was
were
that
very
no?
pale mushrooms. First level of Sonic and Knuckles is Mushroom Hill Zone. So
Oh,
I
did
think
I think I might have missed it. I think I'm blurring the images in my head. I don't
it's
have it
cool.
up, but
But in any case, I think that does point to like, I think the through line is Dr. Robotnik is from Earth with all the people. Sonic isn't. And that would make sense because, like we talked last episode, Dr. Robotnik is the only human in those original games. And the idea is that, like, he's invading nature and corrupting it or whatever. So, like, I think he's from Earth. He's just really smart or whatever. IQ 300, like the manual from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle says. um, and he becomes more and more obsessed. You see it like there's a scene where you know, they do the thing they do in a lot of trailers where like he's saying like the character is talking and they're flashing different scenes that relate to the specific line parts of the line that the character is saying. At the end,
mm,
it cuts to him putting on bent up glasses or whatever, saying like, "Oh, and we need to find out what makes it tick or whatever." And like that's when he has like Sonic's weird like electric blue hair or whatever. I think he becomes more and more obsessed. It makes him go insane. And like I think that I think that's the end of the movie is he gets into Sonic's world, planet. Sonic says your planet to
Yeah. So
Cyclops
he knows that he's on a different,
at
field.
some point.
He's on Earth, so he must come from another universe or world or something. So maybe he chases Sonic into there. I don't know. Like there's a couple
Yeah.
different things that
Because
that can
I don't
point
know,
to
like I don't
that.
know
But
what you thought about like some of the ways they're handling, like I don't want to say Sonic lore because this isn't exactly what I
yeah,
mean, but like behaviors about the character being inconsistent with the games. Sonic, he just runs fast.
yeah.
I
There's
think
not
I mentioned
much
this
to it.
last
He's
episode
kind
or
of
whatever, but
cocky.
yeah, the official reasoning for why he runs fast is just because he can. There is no like the trailer gives off the impression that he's got this weird fur that makes him run faster. Like it's pulsing with energy. Like that feels not. I don't want to say it's inconsistent or whatever, but like it feels different than the character as we know it. And then also there is a quick scene where characters are falling and Sonic throws a ring that becomes very big and it's a portal, and that's like
Yeah,
not a
that's
thing.
true. I mean, I'm not against them adding like different powers. Not saying he should be like shooting lasers out of his eyes or anything, but like if he has like ways
They're
of
saving that for Cyclops.
yeah, same as Cyclops. If they have ways of like expanding his power besides just running fast. I don't need an origin story. I think I said that last episode as well. I don't need an
Mm-hmm.
origin story for Sonic. He can just be a blue hedgehog who runs fast. Um, but I don't mind it too much if they don't dwell on it too long of like yeah, he has like electricity in his fur or something that makes him go fast. Like it's just part of him, you know what I mean? I don't want it to be like an experiment gone wrong. I wouldn't like that. I don't want to know
Yeah.
like where Sonic is birthed. I'd rather just be like, "Yep, this is how I work."
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to that. It just is. You know
Right.
what I mean? I don't need the explanation of why he goes fast or where the electricity on his fur came from.
And a lot of that has worked with Marvel movies. Like, we didn't get a breakdown of the scientific explanations for why Captain Marvel is able to do very specific things. Like, no, energy blast, she's just the way she is now. And so I'm hoping that, like, even if they do decide to give him a origin starting point, it's like a very basic, he runs fast because X. We don't need to be like, we need to zoom in on his DNA and you see, oh, antigens are coming in or whatever, and it's alternating. Or like, we don't need to see any of that,
Yeah.
which is what you're trying to
One
say.
plot idea I can think of is they say, "Oh, we have one man for the job for Sonic, whatever, the military." Maybe the military wants his powers. That could be a plot point. I feel like it's a little not lame,
Yeah,
but just like,
basic Hollywood,
yeah, just here comes a supernatural
basic
being.
military.
We need to research them or
Yeah,
see how they
and it's
work.
funny in
Who's
the
one guy who
trailer.
can do it? Oh, Eggman,
Yeah,
because he's the smartest man ever. He can do anything.
right.
You know what I mean?
But he's kooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny, like that specific part in the trailer where they're like, we have the right guy or whatever the line is. Right before then, it's like the military officer says, there was a power outage or whatever, and right before that they show lights, dimming in the United States,
The entire.
and
By the
right
way,
before
that's
that,
not like a small thing. That's
that's countrywide.
that's
Like,
actually a really bad thing. Like Sonic, I hope doesn't do that. I mean,
well, see,
it looks like
that's
it
the thing
does.
I'm trying to get to. Right before that, they show Sonic running, and he does like I guess a Sonic boom, maybe if that's the reference they want to make,
Haha.
where like there's like not an explosion of energy, but like he's breaking the sound barrier now. There's now he's
And,
going
like,
really fast, and they kind of make it seem like that is the cause, but he's running in the daytime. The lights go out at night, which is obviously the easiest way of showing global electric.
So that's what makes you think
electricity
that's at a
outage,
different. That's at a different point. Like maybe he's
but like
fighting.
it's weird that they're trying to
Robotnik
make
and
it
that
seem like
happened.
that's the case. I don't
I
know.
think, like I said, earlier, we gotta remember the general audience, how they would interpret that. They might not look at it in that much detail, and they'll probably be like, "Wow, he powerful."
or like unrelated almost. Because honestly, the first time I watched the trailer, it felt like that scene didn't lead into the thing they were talking about. It just felt like, here's more, I guess. We're
Yeah.
cutting to a different thing. But, like I said, like the trailer is a product. That's the impression they want to give. So they decided to cut that scene of Sonic running there and
To
start with there was an unexplained power outage across the continental United States or whatever.
oh, you know
So
what? You know what it could be.
hmm,
It's probably not a good thing. At least to me, it's just a bad as a plot hole. Is that like you can't show lights dimming in the
in the
morning
daytime.
out in space because it
Right.
would just look like nothing happened. So I
Right.
feel like
That's what I was saying earlier. Like it's like
so that could be just to pretend that you don't think about that like, hey, that happened at daytime, this is at night, don't worry about it, unless
I think
like
that's the biggest
he'll run from like one end of the United States to the other in a full day, and then that's what turns the lights out.
could be. As that maybe it's
That's
a time lapse. Or maybe he's Supermaning it and like what
well, if he's
Superman
going,
2
we
where
want to do the
he
math on
goes around the
this.
planet and it slows time
How
or speeds up time.
we could do the math and see how long it would take him if he's going what 700 and let's say 700 miles per hour. Was that how much? How far or how
I think
fast
it's
he was
like
going?
760, but it's
760.
fast.
How many miles is it from the West Coast to the East Coast? Could he do
Yeah,
that
I
in a
don't know.
day? Would that just be an hour for him?
And what will he have the stamina for it? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
That's
funny.
more questions, man. We just got more questions out of this trailer than I mean, we got
And a
some
lot of them
answers, but
don't
we got
feel like exciting questions to be
no,
asking.
no. Like they're like, okay, so how does this work? So he,
How does the ring portal thing work? Because it's not related to the games.
how's Robotnik get bald? Is it from an explosion? Is it because he's crazy? Does he
I
go to
think
the
I
other
think
worlds?
yeah.
like, I mean, that's a
I think
kind of
honestly
a
he
cool
just
question, but
becomes more
that's
obsessed. But
I feel like that's the only cool question I got out of the trailer was like, oh,
right,
so does he go to other worlds? Because that'd be cool. Do we get to see a Knuckles and a Tails? I don't know. I don't think we
yeah.
will. If they do, it won't. They won't be voiced by anybody, so they don't. It doesn't show in the cast, and it'll just
Maybe
be
they'll show them
like
at the very end of the movie when they're like in Sonic's world, like the trailer seems to kind of point
he's
to.
like, well, it's time to go back to my friends, and he like zooms through time and space, and like he teleports. He's like, guys, I'm back, and it just shows them like smiling, and that's it. Like there'll be no like dialogue for them. It'll just be like, "Whoa, dude, it's Knuckles and Tails! Woo! Are you hyped?" No, because it's been a long hour and 45 minutes.
I wonder how long this movie's going to be.
Let me look, see if it's on there. I don't think we
Because
got it
like
yet.
you can have
Usually, you don't know the length until closer.
right.
Because a trailer
Like
sometimes is just chunks. Sometimes you don't even get what you see in the trailers in the actual
mhm.
film because it's cut or re-edited.
Because there can be long movies that feel really short, like Avengers Endgame, and there can be super short movies that feel like they drag on forever. So
Yeah.
I don't know how ironic it would be that a Sonic movie feels slow.
But yeah, so far the trailer for me is I'm gonna give it a good I'm not gonna give a rating on it, but like a number rating. But I will
Mhm.
say it's not looking good for me. And it sucks because I was hoping Jim Carrey can carry it, but I don't know if he can even carry this.
Yeah,
Because
no
editing's
pun
important.
intended,
Editing is important for a comedy film. Like you can tell the best jokes, but if it's just like dead air
but
or like there's no reaction, because like a lot of like jokes you see in comedy movies will have like guy says joke, there's a reaction of some sort from a other character.
right, exactly.
There's none of that. The guy's just like,
And the good movies play out that joke in the real movie like differently. That's in a way that's not like it's unexpected and it actually does make you laugh. If you didn't laugh in the trailer, it makes you laugh now.
Mhm.
There's definitely, I've seen a lot of movies where like, oh, you see the trailer a whole bunch of times in front of other movies, so you're waiting for this joke, and either it's a different line delivery of it, or like the timing is a little different or something, and it actually does make you laugh. But like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like they tried very hard in this trailer to make him funny, like you were saying.
Because he said the
So
joke to the general, whoever, and like the general just like has a blank stare on his face as looking at him. Like I get they're
mhm.
trying to be like this guy's nuts, but like he didn't do a good job of that. And then like the other guy's like, oh, he means that you're basic, and it's like, ha, like it's not even a ha. I'm just like, why?
There needs to be a reaction from someone somewhere that relates to the audience, and
Yeah,
it's honestly like, this is like a stupid honest buddy cop movie, probably. And you have Sonic paired up with Cyclops, the actor that played Cyclops, and he's probably going to be the straight man that is like, I'm in over my head or whatever, and he's reacting to a lot of the wacky stuff Sonic's doing, and so like he's kind of our conduit a bit. He kind of echoes our thoughts maybe a bit. I don't know, and
to
like,
go back on the comedy though, I just remembered this. That one part where like he has a kid in the bag. Like I thought that was
yeah.
we were getting somewhere with that. We were getting somewhere with that. I liked where that was going. I
But
just
like
feel like the
his line,
rest.
like, "Oh, it is a child, but it's not mine." It's like, what do you mean? You didn't like think hard enough about what to say? That felt very weird.
I feel like it
I
was
don't know. What did
going
you think?
somewhere. Personally, I think it was going somewhere. Maybe it'll be better executed with more context. I feel
Hmm.
like they're trying to like we need another joke. It can't just be Jim Carrey.
Right.
We need to show that the other characters are funny too. So like they put Cyclops in there with a group of other people, and I feel like that was more funny than the Jim Carrey part. Personally, I think that was the
I
best
think the
part.
scenario is definitely funnier. You're
I think
right.
that part is not saying
The
it's the
highlight.
the highlight of the trailer. I think that part to me was it
Yeah.
had me thinking. I'm like, okay, like
But
it's
I don't
kind
know.
of
Like,
weird that there's someone talking from the bag, and he says, "Oh, is there what is in there?" And then he's like, "It's child." Wait, I don't even know how the joke works now. Was it? Does someone
well,
say it's a
Sonic says
child?
something like, "Oh, it smells in here," and someone goes, "Do you have your child in that bag?" And he says, "No. I mean, it's a child, but it's not mine." And then people kind of like walk away. But then like
I
this
think
is
it'll
this.
be. I feel like there's something there. I think it can be better executed, and I'm hoping in the movie with more context
Mhm.
and actual sound that isn't just Gangster
Nothing.
Paradise playing
Gangster
in the
Paradise.
background.
I think that's that song.
It'll be better executed.
Well,
I'm hoping. That's
like
one of the
what?
few hopes. Look, if I'm going to pull out the positives, since we've just been mostly doing negatives, I like Jim
Yeah.
Carrey's general design. I feel like it's goofy enough for the character, and I think that scene has some hope to get me like, if it's even just like comedy the whole time, I'll be like, that's fine. It's a kids because we got to remember this is a kids movie.
Right.
I think that's the market they're going for. Yeah, they want to have a general audience or adults come in and
Hmm.
be like, oh, haha. But a kid's still gonna find it funny that there's a
Right.
kid in the bag. But like we'll look at it as like, is this guy a child abductor? I don't know. That's the kind of like dark humor I think they're trying to
Well,
go
what
for.
what
So
ruins not ruins the scene, but it reminded me of a thing I noticed a couple times in the trailer. Is Sonic's lines, not even necessarily the actor's delivery of them, but like we've talked enough about Sonic's design visually, but and how it's like weird, super off model. It feels like I don't know, a Chinese toy ripoff of the character. We've talked enough about that, but like the other aspect of Sonic besides his classic design that appeals to children is his cute but snarky attitude about everything he does. And I'm not getting that from this trailer. And like that, he says something like, "It smells like Axe body spray and a ham sandwich," or whatever. It doesn't feel funny. It doesn't even feel clever. And it feels like, dude, shut up. Like, it doesn't feel like,
yeah,
it feels like I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. He's got him in the bag. He says, "Shut up," or whatever, like, "Don't give this away." And it feels like Sonic doesn't care
oh, I
about
bet
that, and
you.
he's just saying what's on the top of his mind instead of having like an "ew," it's like it smells bad or some kind of like reaction, some sort of line that I don't know
Yeah.
gives off like a sense of like, why is he talking at all? It just feels like he's lazily not really caring about their situation and is just talking. It doesn't feel, I don't know.
Well, I still think we can do a more in-depth version of an episode in terms of like looking more into the details of the trailer, but this is one that just came to me, and before I forget about it, it's not a huge detail thing, but maybe it is. Remember, there's like a nurse or whatever. One of the girls is the nurse. That's who that actress is the one Cyclops is sitting or standing next to, I think, waiting for the elevator right before that scene starts. So I bet you he's sneaking Sonic in to get looked at by the
Gotcha. And that would
not
explain
the
why
nurse,
she didn't
the
walk
animal,
away.
the animal vet, whatever,
Yeah,
veterinarian.
that makes
There you
sense.
go. I think that's what that whole scene is, right there.
That makes sense. Because I was wondering, like, why is she not leaving too? She's standing next to potentially a child molester.
Yeah,
She's just like,
yeah.
well, my elevator's coming up or whatever. Where are they even standing?
I think
What
near,
are they waiting
like
for?
in a probably in an
I
office
don't know.
or
Maybe
near.
we don't see the elevator that's like right in front of them.
That's what
Maybe
I'm
that's it.
guessing it's elevator just based off the shot because it was a little bit up, and usually for elevator like shots when you're trying to show that there's depth, like they can go in underneath the camera or into the elevator, you put it above the elevator because same with doors, a character sometimes will be going through a door but you want it to cut right before they go through the door, you'll put it above the door usually. I mean, sometimes you can just pan out from the door, just show the door, but that's one way of doing it to give depth to the set, because sometimes the set doesn't actually have an elevator. So I can guarantee you,
Right.
with
That's
the small
interesting.
budget that they have, it probably is either an elevator or a doorway of some sort. There's
I didn't think about that. Maybe
your Devon film analysis for you. Hey,
maybe that building is a real building, and like the actual location where the elevators are like not ideal for the space they want to use. Maybe you're
that's
right.
another thing.
And think about that.
There's my
But
film minor being put to good use. Sonic movie. Proud of me, college.
yeah.
But no, that's just one thing that just came to me just when I was thinking about it, because I'm like thinking about the movie as we're talking, like the trailer as we're talking about it. Like it's kind of like the scenes are cycling through my head. But I think I got about a couple minutes here, so I think we're gonna wrap this up. But I wanted to talk about the one article I sent you from Brian Altano, our boy Brian Altano. Shout out. We don't know him, but he's a favorite of ours from the comic.
He's
button.
from IGN.
And IGN. He wrote an opinion piece about how he trashed the Sonic movie trailer, and I already regret it. And it's a good article. I'll link it in the description for everyone listening, in either the SoundCloud description or the underneath in the YouTube description there. How he, shat on it like everyone else was on the internet. He made a Photoshop of all the missiles aiming at Sonic, and then he put all like the splatters from what's it called? The
Rotten Tomatoes
splatter, and then all the downvotes, 1 stars as well. And like he felt bad after he did it. He's like, "Why did I do that?" And that whole, from me, I don't know how you interpreted the article, but from my perspective of it, I kind of agree with him. Is that this movie is made for kids. We will when we were kids, we watched probably so many bad movies, but we didn't know necessarily they're bad, or we didn't.
Spy Kids.
Spy Kids.
I don't know how many times I've seen that terrible movie.
But you brought your parents to it, or you brought your grandparents to take you to go see, Spy Kids, Shark Boy and Lava Girl, where we were like, oh, this is so cool, it's in 3D, but like, wow, this movie's trash to them. You know what I mean?
It's terrible.
But Brian makes a good point of how like he dragged his parents to go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, which was the worst one out of all the live action ones. I haven't seen it in probably 10 years, so I don't know how bad it was. But he makes a good point of like, yeah, I think it's okay to like have criticism for it, but to just blatantly shit on it without the movie coming out, isn't entirely fair. Yes, I think, it's gonna be bad and all that. But at the end of the day, we gotta remember they're making this for kids, and like, yeah, the Sonic fanboys will be mad. We'll be mad. Like I said earlier, I felt like I got punched in the gut. But at the end of the day, is Johnny, age 8, who plays the Sonic games, gonna really care? You know what I mean? Is he gonna go?
I think another thing he brings up too is that like no one's really being original when they're trying to make fun of this movie. You know what I mean? Like everyone's saying the same things. We're all like, you know, like snarkily groaning or rolling our eyes at the same few aspects of the movie. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you there. I mean, like, I do think that there is a difference between making a movie specifically for young children and making a movie that is an all ages movie. I think like when people are like, oh, it's a movie for the whole family, it's not really being honest with like, is it really for the whole family? Can an adult sit through Smurfs 2 and actually appreciate even a little bit?
Yeah,
you know
I mean,
Or,
I feel like with Sonic, it's for kids, and then like I know they don't want to go out and say this is a kids movie because that limits your audience. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They want the Sonic fanboys to come in. They want the gaming audience to come in, so they're gonna be like, no, it's for all ages. You know, it has all different types of humor. But one thing I could see happening is that this movie is bare bones a kids movie. Yes, there's the occasional adult joke, and it'll just be okay, or we'll hate it.
Right.
But as long as Johnny, age 9,
loves it, he's grown a year.
If he loves it, then I guess it's a win for them. And if it makes us money, I think that's my new hope now. I think in the first episode I said, oh, I hope the movie's just all right, or it'll be a win if the movie's just all right.
Right.
I'm starting to change that into just like, let's just take this movie, take it for
if
what
it even
is.
Releases, it's a victory for us.
Yeah. Or just
slowly
no, I mean like, not saying we can't criticize and be like, no, this is a bad film, I'll never watch it again. That's fair. I'm saying we go into the theater, we watch it, and be like, yeah, it sucks, but you know what? I'm not gonna like be so upset about it. I think you just need context
and perspective.
Yeah,
you know.
And exactly. I think he says in the end of his article here, Brian, says how bad the Super Mario Bros. Movie was.
Yeah. And
how we all have to start from somewhere. So like this could be, I think we should still show support for this movie. I think it's important that if you're like, oh, I'm definitely not seeing this, maybe just get the ticket, go to get the $5 movie night or whatever it is. So for us, it's Tuesdays. So maybe I'll go on Tuesday. Maybe we'll go on, well, we're going on opening night, but like if we weren't doing this podcast and I wasn't as invested in the Sonic, but like I knew it was a video game movie, I might go for the $5 movie night.
Yeah, 100%.
So
nothing about what we've seen so far has jazzed me, you know, but I don't know.
It definitely lowered. I mean, my expectations were very low, but it definitely lowered it more.
It confirmed them.
I kind of lost the hype. I'm definitely not on the hype train no more. And it's sad because we're only in the second episode of this show and the hype is gone, man. It's sad. Okay. Maybe a teaser will come out months from now that'll get me back into it. Maybe Jim Carrey will say a great joke and I'll be like, you know what? Yeah. I'll see this whole movie just for that joke.
It's like,
and enjoy it.
You know, before we got a trailer, you know, my hope, whatever you want to call it, anticipation of the film was that like, I know it's going to be bad, right? But like, I'm hoping that there is a sign that they're in on it, that they're trying to take the piss out of it just as much as we are, at least, you know, the subject matter. Yeah. You know, that like maybe, and then, who knows, maybe it might be brilliantly flawed, like a movie that you love to hate, or a movie so bad you actually appreciate it. Like it reverses,
like a cult classic.
But yeah, exactly.
If this becomes a cult classic, that to me is more than a win.
Like
that's
Speed Racer.
That's a Super Bowl win right there for Sonic. Sonic is going to Disney World. If this is,
and then like having the best game of your life.
If I come out of this theater being like, this was actually brilliant, like I will be ecstatic. I would,
but like
love
that was
for
my
that
expectation
scenario to happen.
Yeah, that was my expectation or not expectation. Those were my
Your
feelings
hope.
before we got this trailer, and now the only hope I have is that like hopefully the studio actually knows that they're making something bad. Like I would hate for the movie to come out, and you know how like actors even on bad movies are like, I'm very proud of what I did and I'm proud of the movie, like Batman v Superman. Everyone's
Yeah.
like, no, we made the movie for the fans, or as if critics can't be fans or whatever, and fans can't be critics. But I like if it comes out and like that reaction is like dumbfounded, like, what do you mean it's bad? We did our best. Like that would be the worst, like kick to the knees, drop to
Yeah,
the
especially for the
ground. I'm
actors,
so
because
upset for them.
I'm a very like creator friendly person in terms of I know not I know what it's like to be a Hollywood actor, but like I know how much time people put into these things, and like I always feel bad afterwards. Like
It's their craft.
it's their craft. It's just people's jobs who could be on the line for this film, and like at the end of the day, I'm always like, it's not that bad. Like,
Right. And it's not worth someone losing their job over,
so
because
I
like
always
we
hope
keep
that
talking
movies
about
do
actors
well.
and directors, but like we have set designers, costume designers, the CG
A
artists
lot of the
who
people who are doing this
I don't know
movie
who they
are
got for that,
these are their
but
first time being writers. So
that's
like
right. We went over
we
that
so
for something this
that's
big.
so
It's
that's
like
another thing I'm trying to put in perspective is like, okay, even if this movie sucks,
right.
did they at least get like a C plus in writing? You know what
Marvel
I mean?
Studios came out with like the biggest pop culture thing of all time, and they had 21 movies to build off of.
Yeah.
They had experience.
Yeah.
Like we can't compare it to that.
Yeah, and
We
that's
can't
why
compare the Sonic movie
expectations
to
should be
that.
low. I feel like it's wrong to have such high expectations. Not saying you can't have some sort of expectations, but to me, my expectations have changed because of the trailer. I think you're basically saying the same thing,
Hmm.
but I don't think still it's like so bad that it's like like I said, I lost my hype for it. I'm still gonna go see it opening night. I'm still gonna root for it. I really do want to do like even remotely well. Like
Right.
just give me something, man. And I really
I'm
hope
hoping that
Jim
we're
can
not
carry
like,
it.
well, at least it made its money back. Like I'm hoping that's not the low bar we have.
Yeah.
But
Is it what I'm expecting? Maybe. I mean, I hope it doesn't just make $9 million or how much it was. I don't remember.
mhm.
I know it was a low budget, so
Yeah. Well, I feel like we're rambling. I feel
yeah.
like we've summed up everything we have so far.
Just the
We've
the
got reactions
raw
about this trailer.
raw
So,
reactions, man. That's classic YouTube title right there. Raw reaction.
yep.
My
In-depth
first
analysis.
well,
Maybe we'll do that someday. But
in depth analysis I think will be probably later. But if that I think well, do you want to solidify that? Do you want to say we're doing that? 'Cause I think we could do that. I think we can do more of a frame by frame analysis of the
sure.
Sonic movie trailer later
And if you
on.
don't see it, that means we didn't think it was worth it. But so
Well,
yeah,
we
that's
have the Detective Pikachu coming out, so we wanted to do a review of that after we see it because we want to put it in the perspective of this film and like how is it going to compare? How will it build hype for Sonic? Will it not? You
mhm.
know, all that good stuff.
Well,
But
we'll talk all about that stuff as we get to it. Like this show isn't on a set schedule, so when you see it, that means we actually have something to say. And if you want to hear our specific thoughts about other things, you could follow us on Twitter.
mhm.
You can follow me at Ethan
You
Absolutely.
said it wrong last
I
time.
said it wrong last time. Some kid named Kevin has the Twitter
His
handle
name's not
at
even Ethan.
Absolutely Ethan, and I'm upset about that because his name's not Ethan. And you can follow Devin here at
Persona YouTube.
Cursona YouTube. And yeah, that was the second episode of the Sonic Movie Show. You can catch us on SoundCloud and YouTube. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're finding us on one of those locations, why don't you hop over to the other one? Give us a like, a subscribe, ring the bell. Is that a thing people say?
I
Write a comment saying how awful we are. And also wish us a good day because, I wish you a good day.
always, always. Do you have a cool Sonic quote that you can like say to end it? Because last time we did that, and
I think I'm
I
going
think
to
it
end.
gave us some good luck.
I'm going to round us out with the first line Sonic says in this trailer, and that's gotta go fast.
uh,